All right, everybody, welcome back to the Waiver Wire. It is September 9th, Monday. Week one's all in the books. It's 7:13 p.m. I'm joined again with Nick. We're here to talk some football, man. We're finally here. We've been talking about football for like a month and a half, and now finally week one's in the books. We kind of got a taste of everybody, kind of looking around. What's surprising you?
Man, biggest surprise of the week. I don't
Vernon
know.
Davis's athletic ability.
Yeah, the old guys showing up. Vernon Davis and Fitzgerald, Cameron Wake. Shout out to the old guys.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, what is the biggest surprise to you so far?
I think the biggest surprise for me right off the bat is the Falcons offense. I was really disappointed. They could not run the ball at all. And I thought Julio signed that contract. I thought he was going to come out with a big game and this is why you signed me to this kind of money. And they just didn't seem to have it. And on the opposite side, Kirk Cousins threw the ball 10 times. Not in the first half. In the whole game. He threw the ball 10 times.
Dalvin Cook was really good.
And they just ran it right down their throat.
Yeah.
I mean, what a weird game.
It's because they didn't do anything about it. I mean, the Vikings were just like, fuck, Dalvin Cook's just going to have his way with you. We're just going to let it go.
Yeah.
You know?
So, very interesting. The Vikings defense was electric, and that Vikings offensive line, I knew it was going to be better because quite honestly, it had to be.
Mm-hmm.
But very impressive. It'll be interesting to watch both those teams moving forward. As a Bears fan, makes me a little nervous, honestly.
Yeah, the Vikings did look good. I think my biggest surprise, honestly, was Tennessee whooping the Browns. But another big surprise for me was like how shitty the Steelers defense looked. I don't want to talk about the Steelers that much, but I mean our defense looked like trash out there. But our Brady is arguably the GOAT. So him picking us apart, yeah, he is the GOAT. And him picking us apart isn't too frustrating to me, but it's like, damn, I really thought our defense was going to step up this year. Miami looked like shit,
Wow.
But the one division we haven't talked about is the NFC East. So let's talk about them a little bit, man. Week one, Philly almost lost it against the Redskins. What'd you think about that game?
Yeah, I think it's just a typical, they walked into the game expecting to win, and I think they just kind of took them a little lightheartedly right off the bat. And Case Keenum has always moved the ball well when he has weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find the Redskins to be a team that's going to make any noise, but if you are a Redskins fan out there, there's some really encouraging performances from Terry McLaurin, the rookie receiver, and Kelvin Harmon, another rookie receiver. Those are two exciting pieces going forward with Dwayne Haskins once he takes over to really hopefully have a good offense here in a few years. So that's exciting for them, but I think the Eagles just kind of didn't take them seriously right off the bat, which happens. These guys are human. And, man, Carson Wentz looked great.
Yeah, Wentz looked good. Keenum almost threw for 400 yards. He can move the ball. I was really disappointed, and I mean, guy's averaging 1.8 yards a carry. I picked him last year in fantasy because I was like, oh, he's gonna do well. Tore his ACL. Picked him up again this year because I still have faith, and he's just disappointing,
Yeah.
And Vernon Davis had a great game. I think Paul Richardson's another good piece for them. But yeah, I mean, as soon as Dwayne Haskins takes over and he's got all these weapons, I think they're primed for something. If you're a Redskins fan, it's a good time to be faithful. Eagles are the Eagles, man. I mean, I think they're gonna make a nice postseason push. I think they could very well make it to the Super Bowl. And then on the other side of that, you got the Cowboys and the Giants. So I think the Cowboys are another team to be taken very seriously going into the postseason. Yes. The Giants look like the Giants, I mean, but Eli Manning did have a good game. He didn't turn the ball over.
Big numbers.
Yeah, he did fumble, but I mean, he's not thrown to the other team like we've seen classic Eli. And Dak Prescott, man, what has gotten into him? That game was insane. What'd you think about Cowboys Giants?
Yeah, I thought Dak wants some of that Jerry Jones money, man. He's like, man, don't mess around. If you're gonna pay Zeke, you better pay me too. He had a perfect passer rating. Unbelievable. A handful of those throws, guys are wide open, but he's putting it right on their numbers, and he looked great. I thought the Giants, they defended the run really well. That might be a rusty Zeke, I'm not sure, but they held Zeke to like 50-something yards, and that's really encouraging if you're a Giants fan. Evan Ingram looked like the guy that everyone's been waiting for him to be. Hopefully he can be consistent, but yeah, I think the Cowboys should be a team that's pushing for the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah, man, Saquon almost averaged 11 yards a carry. That's so insane. Like, that's so exciting as a Giants fan. Like, if I was a Giants fan and I saw a production like that from a 22-year-old running back, I'd be like, man, we get a couple more good pieces. I mean, we've got. I mean, Saquon is just an absolute freak, and it's, Daniel Jones. Maybe he's the guy, maybe he's not. If he steps up, it's like the next couple years could be super good if they just find the right quarterback. You know what I mean? They got Evan Ingram playing to his potential, and someone like Saquon. Their offense could be so deadly.
They're really you're right. They are closer than people think because I think they have a pretty solid offensive line and they have a really strong defensive line. They need a dynamic pass rusher, but I agree that I think they're a little closer than people think. So yeah, if Daniel Jones can pan out just to be a solid starter, then they're going to be a team that's going to push people here in a year or two, for sure.
And it could be like one of the tougher divisions too, because you've already got the Eagles, who are a solid team, the Cowboys that are a solid team. If you get some young, hungry guys in there that are ready to play and compete, it could be a fun division to watch in the next couple of years. But as of now, it's definitely Eagles, Cowboys, then the other two. You can put them however you want. I mean, I'd probably take the Cowboys over the Eagles at this point. I like the Cowboys. I like how the Cowboys look, and I hate saying it because I fucking hate the Cowboys. But their defense looks good, their offense looks good, and if Dak's playing like this and Zeke can, get it going, get the rust off, shake the rust off. I mean, the Cowboys could be a super, super deadly team.
Yeah, if it's up to me, I'm rolling with the Eagles. Give me the better coach and the better quarterback, but the Cowboys are very talented.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Another game. Obviously, I mean, we talked about your Bears. Another game I watched was the Steelers game. Man, we came out. We looked flat. I mean, James Conner averaged 2 yards a carry. Ben, I mean, it was a tough game. 3-33. They whooped our ass. I'm not too upset we lost, but I really wished I saw more promising points in our defense. I feel like our defense did not show up whatsoever. What did you think about this game?
Yeah, it was an impressive game from the Patriots. I think that the Patriots are extremely talented. Man, Josh Gordon looks like Josh Gordon of old. It'll be interesting to see if he can make it through a whole season, which is something he has not been able to do. The Patriots defense, they just seem to be a step ahead schematically. I was a little discouraged in Juju. He was, for the most part, locked up by Gilmore, but I do think that James Washington had flashes. It'll be interesting to see how they evolve throughout the season because I think that they have a really strong pass rush, but the Patriots, they neutralize the pass rush because they're so smart. If anyone is watching the Texans and Saints right now, the Saints neutralize J.J. Watt in that pass rush because Drew Brees is so smart. And the Patriots do similar things. And with the Steelers' lack of ability to man up on the backside, it's just really difficult for them to play the Patriots. It's quite frankly just a terrible matchup. But I still expect the Steelers to bounce back and be a 9-10 win team.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough to watch as a fan. I mean, it is week one. I feel like week one, Pittsburgh always comes out so flat. You know what I mean? And against a team like the Patriots, it's like, I'm just glad the Browns lost as well. You know what I mean? Cincinnati got the L, and I mean, Baltimore got a free win. I mean, if you're playing, if you have anybody on your fantasy team and they're playing the Miami Dolphins, play them. This Dolphins team, I mean, I got killed by Lamar Jackson. He had like 45 points, and then Mark Ingram had like 35 behind him. And then the guy had Sammy Watkins. So there's like another 40 plus. But let's visit this Atlanta Vikings game again. Do you think who were you more impressed by? Do you think the Falcons played bad and the Vikings just played super good, or what do you think about that matchup?
Well, I will say that I didn't watch this game play for play, but I did keep a close eye on it. And the Vikings defense and offensive lines seem to control the game based on the lack of rushing from the Falcons and the plethora of running that the Vikings had. And when you control the line of scrimmage on both sides and come out strong, it's really tough to recover because the Falcons, they really became a one-dimensional offense. And the Vikings have a lot of talented defensive backs, a lot of depth there.
Mm-hmm.
So those defensive linemen, they're able to pin their ears back because they know you're not going to run. I'm not going to fold on the Falcons. I was more impressed with the Vikings. Definitely something that NFC North fans should keep an eye on.
Yeah, I thought I was hoping Atlanta would come out, and I really like Devontae Freeman. He's been injured a lot, and I'm thinking, all right, Devontae Freeman's gonna come in. I got him in fantasy. I didn't play him, but I want to see him get. I like the guy. For some reason, I like Devontae Freeman. I'm in his corner, and I was hoping he'd get it going.
Yeah.
He was not good. Matt Ryan was trying to force the ball to Julio, and they weren't making plays. They weren't connecting. And I personally, I was just super impressed by that Viking run game. Dalvin Cook just absolutely took the ball and just pounded it he just pounded it down the field, and it was really really impressive to watch. I mean, there was at one point, he picked up like a 20-yard gain and just absolutely lowered his shoulder to the linebacker and blew him over and got up and was like, was like talking with him, and I was just like, damn, this guy is the real deal, man. He plays with a lot of emotion. He's passionate. He's strong. He's fast. So in reality, I still really like the Falcons. I wasn't very high on the Vikings, but I feel like that just improved their stock more than Atlanta's dropped.
For sure.
It's just I didn't expect the run game. I didn't expect them to like that. That run game's insane. And also, like I wouldn't get too overhyped about it because, like you said, Kirk Cousins threw the ball 10 times. You know what I mean? He didn't really have to do a whole lot to win the game for him. It was a lot of Dalvin Cook and that offensive line. So it's like when they're in games where they need to put the ball in the air and they need to make plays, we'll see what version of Kirk Cousins shows up.
For sure, yeah.
So what other games caught your eye last night?
Well, I mean, I watched the Titans-Browns every single snap. I hate to toot my own horn. Actually, I don't. I love it. I told you this Titans defense was going to be nasty, and they were nasty. They got dudes all over the field. Cameron Wake is like ageless. I mean, I know Brady and Breeze are impressive, but I mean,
I couldn't believe they got a safety on Baker.
Cameron Wake is crazy. And then, they got a guy I've never even heard of, Finch. He got a sack. My boy Harold Landry looked good coming off the edge. And in my opinion, they have the best safety in football in Kevin Byard. So
that game, I didn't watch that game. I saw like play-by-play. So what stood out the most on that? Did they take the ball away at all? Or were they just constantly in the backfield, making it hard for Baker? Or what was the story with that defense?
Well, what happened, the Browns did not help themselves for sure. I think that they abandoned the run way too early. They had penalty problems. The Browns showed a lot of undisciplined play on both sides of the ball.
How was that? Ejected. Oh, I heard about that. I didn't know what happened though.
Bicycle kicking Kenny Vaccaro in the head. And if you guys think I'm kidding, like YouTube it or something, it's one of the most crazy things I've ever seen. But that Browns offensive line that a lot of people had questions about, they didn't answer any of those questions. Baker made some really great throws in the first half, but in the second half, clearly trying to force things. And that Titans team is a lot like Mike Vrabel, and they're going to get in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, they kind of big shotted the Browns, and the Browns, they wanted to fight back so much they didn't know how to.
Mm-hmm.
And the play calling from the Titans offensively was really balanced. Mariota looks healthy. He made some big-time throws, and when they get Derrick Henry rolling, my goodness, he is an absolute load.
Yeah, I remember Thomas calling Derrick Henry the cyborg when we were playing Madden one time.
It's a perfect name.
I love it, and that's what I was at the bar watching the game, so I just yelled the cyborg or whatever, because
he just runs like he has like.
It was halftime. It was showing highlights. I'm like, man, a cyborg. And some guy's like, what? The cyborg? I'm like, yeah, that name fits him. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? That's the cyborg right there. But yeah, man, Mariota was 14 to 24, almost 250 yards for 3 touchdowns, no picks. He looked. I really am. I'm rooting for the guy because, like, this is really. I feel like him and Jameis Winston both obviously like this is their year to be successful, or the teammate might want to look into moving on. And I think Mariota's ceiling is higher than that of Winston's because Winston's just not. I just don't think he has it, and I don't think he's very disciplined. So the combination of those two things is like the chance of success is very low.
Yeah.
AJ Brown had 3 catches for 100 yards, so he came out to play too.
He looked great.
Yeah, man. But another game that stood out to me, was the Bills-Jets. The Bills struggled to move up the field in the first half. They eventually came through and won it. The Bills is a team I was decently high on, and I still am decently high on in the AFC East. I think they got a lot of talent there. It's just Allen wasn't making plays. They just didn't look. Their run game didn't look good. Nothing was clicking for them. It was also nice seeing Le'Veon Bell play a game again. But
Yeah.
what'd you experience watching that game?
Yeah, I had kind of the similar feelings with Allen. He appears to still he's turning the ball over. One of Allen's issues is he's a lot like Cam Newton. They are so big and athletic and talented that they feel like they have to make a crazy play. And when you do that, sometimes you make a crazy play,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you fumble or throw a pick, and it's a long game. Allen has the luxury of an amazing defense and amazing coaching staff. He needs to be more patient, but I was really impressed with the Bills' resiliency. And the one thing about Allen is he doesn't get down regardless of those mistakes. I was disappointed in Darnold. I thought he'd take advantage of those mistakes.
Yeah. Darnold's another guy I was wanting to watch for, and it looked like he just had a very mediocre game. I was just not impressed.
Just average, yeah.
Yeah, Bell came back 3.5 yards per carry. He looked pretty strong. But yeah, the Bills, Devin Singletary carried it 4 times for 70 total yards.
Yeah.
And man, this Josh Allen, John Brown, we're having connections out there. 7 catches for 123 yards. I might have to look into him in fantasy if they're going to be connecting like that. But yeah, the Bills are another team that I didn't lose a lot of faith in. Like, they struggled to move the ball up the field in that first half. But it's week 1 of football, and I'm not trying to overreact after week 1.
For sure, yeah. And the Bills, that offense is all new. The receivers, the running backs, and the line. It's going to take a while to get a good chemistry going. And the same could be said for the Jets as well. They have a lot of new faces. So I think those offenses should get better as the year goes.
Yeah, man. We don't got to talk about the Chiefs at all, but I just want to say that Sammy Watkins absolutely murdered me. He just went off. I couldn't believe it. His name is not allowed to be said in my household. Rams Panthers. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, the Panthers look strong. Man, Christian McCaffrey is good. Cam Newton throws a costly pick late in the game.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey had over 200 total yards.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster.
This was like one of only 2 or 3 games that was not on, at least near my vicinity.
I know.
There was not a lot of TVs around me. This game wasn't on, and
which is weird.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I had no idea McCaffrey went for over 200 yards. Holy shit, dude.
He is an absolute freak show, man.
He was like their total offense then, pretty much.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, so Jared Goff, 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception.
He was bad.
So did you got to watch this game?
I watched bits and pieces.
Yeah, I mean, how did Todd Gurley look? He looks like he did pretty fine.
So this is going to be interesting with Todd Gurley. He really he didn't really get the ball until they felt the game was close.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be interesting down the stretch because I don't think they're going to blow people out this year like they did last year, and they're clearly worried about his knee and how long it can last because he looked pretty good. He made plays down the stretch, but they didn't give him the ball like they did last year, which is concerning to me because it's week 1. So it'll be his workload will be something to keep an eye on for sure.
Hey man, what do you think about the whole Antonio Brown to the Patriots?
Man, I just think that the way the Patriots are is I think that these guys like Randy Moss and Jamie Collins, Michael Bennett, the reason that they're able to work in New England is one, because New England has no desperation. If it doesn't work, they're not going to hold on to him. They're going to cut him. So that's one thing. The second thing is these guys are on top of the mountain. But when they get in the presence of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I don't think they feel that important anymore. And I think that's the biggest part is it's hard to have an ego around Tom Brady because he's so big. And Belichick's so big that I think you just want to be a part of it. With that being said, if anything can stop the Patriots, it might be Antonio Brown. So it will be very fascinating. But the one thing about the Patriots is they'll just cut him if it doesn't work. So
Yeah. There's like, I don't know, man. I think that's like a weird conspiracy theory where AB almost did this on purpose to end up there. And part of me almost like believes it in a sense because it's like there's nothing coming out of AB now. You know, and now he's like, with a team that's obviously a Super Bowl contender. Some people are super frustrated by it, but it's like, I mean, Pittsburgh, we got rid of him, 4 months ago. He hasn't been on our squad the whole time. So, you know, I got people text me like, how does that make you feel? It's like, well, he wasn't on our team yesterday, he wasn't on our team a week ago, and he wasn't 3 months ago. So we've been done with the ABs. We've been done with him for a long time. You know,
and they got something back for it. They traded him.
Yeah, and we got a 3rd and 5th round pick, which, you know, he's obviously talent above that. But if he continues to play like undisciplined and continues to be like this, AB's weird, man. If he continues to be AB in New England, he could like be self-destructive. You know,
exactly. If anyone should be mad, it should be Raiders fans.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
shafted.
And I feel bad for Raiders fans, man. They were all excited to have AB, and then especially I feel bad for Gruden. But man, my biggest winner for this weekend from week 1, I think it's kind of a tie. I like the Vikings and the Titans. I think they both looked really great. My biggest losers got to be, I'd almost pick both of our teams. You know what I mean? Honestly, there was a lot of like close games out there, but I just think the biggest losers. It's probably ultimately the Steelers. You know, we just didn't look good at all. But yeah, my biggest winner is definitely Vikings and Titans. They look great. I think they're gonna have very successful seasons. The Saints just won, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. The Texans just kicked a field goal with like 30 seconds left, and the Saints went down and kicked a field goal and ended up winning.
Typical.
Yeah. Anyways, man, you got a pick for tonight? Who you got? Denver or Oakland?
I'm feeling Denver. I'm kind of a Denver fan. I like their offensive weapons. I like their defense, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, the Raiders are up 7-0, but I'm taking Denver as well. They're going to whip their ass. But anyways, man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.
Looking forward to it.